Welcome back to Lamb's Cryptoverse. Today I want to talk to you about two things, but mostly on Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin. So let's go to some screens here. On August 15th, I put out a negative video on Bitcoin saying that we could be topping out, and that's what we had here with the Fear Greed Index. We reached near a greed level, and that was concerning to me because remember the Fear Greed Index right here. This is a contrarian indicator. So when we approach the green area here, which is around 40 something, that's considered negative from a contrarian point of view, because as people get greedy, we get fearful the market could be topping out. And that's exactly what happened on August 15th. And what concerns me is not that the market just topped out. Maybe I can show you a chart here. Here's a chart. It's not just concerning to me that the market topped out. Literally, when I put out this video around the same day, see you're at 20,514 according to Glassnode. But it didn't just top out. What happened was, as it was topping out and declining, whales started selling heavily. And I find that disturbing because usually whales sell when Bitcoin prices increase dramatically. And the retail investors in there, everyone's really greedy, everyone's really bullish, altcoins are outperforming. But this time around, Bitcoin went up a little, people are still a little frightened, and still the whales want to get the hell out. And here's a good example. This is an overall accumulation trend and distribution trend. I'm going to show you the whales later, but if you look at this chart here, you could see in red and in yellow is distribution, and in blue and purple is accumulation. And in phase 3 here, got my pointer out over here, you could see there's been accumulation as Bitcoin was declining, and that's a good thing. And then, as I said earlier, Bitcoin prices started increasing in beginning of August 15th. And as soon as it's topped out, people started selling. And it's not just regular users like you and me and retail investors. It was whales especially. There was heavy selling of whales. And I'm going to go to another chart here and you could see. Now if you look here, again, this is from Glassnode. This is showing the accumulation trend by wallet tranche, by wallet cohort. So if you look here, greater than 10K, so the higher level here is whales. The lower one here, you see less than 1, that's smaller investors. People usually like retail investors that have less than 1 Bitcoin. That's them on the bottom. If it's blue, they're accumulating. If it's red, they're selling and they're distributing. And if you look on top here in red here, and you can see the footnote by Glassnode, it says aggressive whale distribution in response to price relief, meaning Bitcoin prices rose and whales started selling aggressively. And you could see here in the bottom chart, it's actually showing you the price of Bitcoin. You could see how it rose from June, I guess June 15th around, up to around August 15th, and then it started declining. And with the decline came heavy whale selling. That's a negative sign. Again, we're seeing the same thing, but from a different point of view. This chart here focuses on exchanges, on whether or not users, including whales, are putting Bitcoins, onto exchanges. Now remember, when Bitcoins move from wallets to exchanges, that's negative, because people usually don't put coins on exchanges unless they're thinking about selling them, right? So that's a negative. And you could see here on the footnote, it says whale distribution to exchanges aligns with the local top. And you saw that here. As we topped out in August, you could see these red bars. This is negative. This showed whales putting coins onto exchanges. Let's go to the next chart. And here we're seeing a similar but not identical chart here. We're showing a hodler net position. So what this is showing is we have a net position change where we see hodling overall, but not from the whale. This is overall. This is including everybody, retail investors, whales, people in the middle that have more than one Bitcoin but less than 10,000. This is overall. So we are seeing accumulation again, especially as Bitcoin prices have declined. But my concern to you was right here was that we have a lot of whale distribution, and you don't want to see that because whales are a very important factor in the market because whales are considered smart money. So you don't want to see whales selling. So we want to see, next time we see this chart next month, we want to see blue here. And then I'll feel confident that Bitcoin's hitting a bottom. So that's all, folks. I just want to show you again that number one, my Bitcoin sentiment indicator, it's not mine. I'm using all these sentiment indicators, I'm putting them together, and then I'm calling them mine. But basically, I'm aggregating them, and I'm telling a story. And the story is that that there was a lot of greed, or some greed, around mid-August, and that coincided with the topping of Bitcoin. And the second point to you was after Bitcoin topped, or during the Bitcoin top, whales started selling heavily, and that's a really concerning sign. And remember, if you look at my video on Bitcoin production cost, remember that I have a downside case of around $10,000 to $12,000 in Bitcoin. So be careful out there, and thank you for liking us and subscribing to us. Bye-bye.